meshed with them. So we'll see what happens.
Again, continuing on the thread of the race dynamics. So we spoke about what the implications are for nation states, but how does it play out, and what are the implications of this for? This is primarily, I think, US-centric argument in the sense, what does it mean for labs in the US? Because obviously there are only a few labs in the world which are competitive when it comes to frontier models, which is, as you mentioned, one is China, one is US. Mistral, I think, was in the race, but I don't think so anymore. So so essentially, I think it's just US and China who are at the frontier. And so what does it mean for these labs, right? Like, is the even at this point, like the context is obviously, even at this point, the model release cycle seems to have increased, right? I think from the point, like, so it took, like, I think 2 years for us to go from GPT-3 to GPT-4, and then maybe a yearish to go from 4 to 4 to 4.0. And then maybe, I don't know, I'm losing track.
I think like we're at 6 weeks for every point release right now.
Yeah. So
like 5.5 just came out and they're already prepping 5.6.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah. And I think there was a massive increase in the pace of, if you look at from 5.2 to 5.3 to 5.4 and then 5.5, that happened in weeks. Yeah. So how do you see this planning out? And like,
this came out like, I think last week where Anthropic released their blog post on recursive self-improvement. And they said that, hey, we're actually seeing, like, day before yesterday, there was a interview by, like, a Bloomberg piece on Anthropic where Boris Cherny, who heads Claude Code, came and said that 100% of the code written for Claude Code is written by Claude. Mm-hmm. Most of, like, model development essentially is done by the models themselves. The reason why when Fable came out, Anthropic silently essentially made sure that if you ask it AI or ML related questions, it would just degrade and give you like worse answers. I wouldn't even tell you if it's giving worse answers. Was testament, and they called it out. They're saying that we don't want our competitors using our models to train their models. And this is not just distillation, which is like a different form of attack that they were trying to do. This is just like, hey, like this accelerates AI capabilities in itself, and we don't want. There's like a very positive feedback loop that has started already. That makes, if you have the most best model, essentially you can essentially get the next best model faster than anybody else. So I think this recursive self-improvement dynamic has already kicked in for all of these frontier labs. And I think maybe this is the point where we'll start seeing the gap between who's actually at the frontier versus like a Meta or an XAI who might not be at the frontier. And the gap might just increase a lot, because that's going to be like the determinant as to who's at the frontier will move from who can spend the most money